Hello boys and girls, a very good morning and welcome to this live session on reasoning ability for your IBPS RRB Office Assistants and IBPS RRB Officers Scale 1 main exam, right? I can see that many of you have joined the session already and you're interacting with us through the chat and with your other friends here. So good to see that, guys. Now, like you know, we will be covering up the reasoning section in the session today, right? We already had one session yesterday where we discussed on quantitative aptitude, right? The questions were chosen from our test papers, and today again in this reasoning section we have chosen the questions, the most difficult questions, or typical questions that were asked in our practice papers, Talent Sprints practice papers and Talent Sprints all India mock exams for the IBPS RRB Officer Scale 1 and IBPS RRB Office Assistants. Okay, so I think we are good to start. If you're all set, I can present the first question to you all, right? Now, you know that in the exam, in the main exam for IBPS RRB, you will have 40 questions in this section and the weightage is 50 marks, right? And since there is a composite time given, you don't have to really worry about that 20-minute cutoff that we usually have in the prelims exam. But then choose your questions wisely. What really matters when it comes to reasoning ability section is that you pick up questions in a way that you can maximize your score, right? Always start with all the independent questions, right? Do not start with puzzles or arrangements or assignments, right? Start with independent questions like syllogisms, directions, blood relations, alphabet, coded inequalities, maybe machine input output and things like that, because these are the topics where we have a proper method, a definite method to arrive at the answer. Once you're done with all these questions, then out of the puzzles that were asked or that are asked, choose the one that you think is easy and go ahead with it, right? Now, you may or may not get the answer. That's a risk that we have here, but then you should give it a try and then choose one puzzle or at best two puzzles of the number of puzzles asked there, right? So make sure that you, when you're practicing on your mock papers, through your mock papers, you always pick up questions in an intelligent way so that you can maximize your score. Okay. Should we get started now? Yeah, I think I'll present the first question to you all. Let's start with some independent ones, and then we'll go to some very interesting arrangement-based questions and some very interesting puzzles that we're going to solve today, right? So the first question is on directions. It's a very simple one. Is on your screens now. Very simple one. Should not take more than 15 seconds. I'm waiting for the first set of responses. Yes, Vidya Rajan has got 10 kilometers. But then Archana, on the other hand, says it is 5 kilometers. So there is a discrepancy here. Okay, I think time's up. Most of you have got 10 kilometers as the answer, which is option 1. Let's quickly solve this. What does it say? Tom went 15 kilometers to the west from John's house, then turned left and walked 20 kilometers. He then turned towards east and walked 25 kilometers. And finally, turning left, covered 20 kilometers. How far is he from John's house? Now, a very simple one, just trace the directions as given here and you'll be able to get the answer. So it says Tom went 15 kilometers to the west from John's house. Now let's assume this is John's house, right? J. Tom went 15 kilometers to the west. Tom went 15 kilometers to the west. Just a second. Yeah, let's say this is John's house. This is the starting point, right? John's house. So Tom went 15 kilometers to the west, right? To the west would mean in this direction. So Tom has gone 15 kilometers in the west direction. Now he then turned left. Now understand, when a person is facing west, turning left would lead him to south, right? So now when he's turned left, he's actually going towards south. So he turned left and walked 20 kilometers. So now he walks 20 kilometers in the south direction, right? So now he's facing south direction. He then turned towards east. Now east is simple, right? Whichever direction you're facing, east is always on your right hand side on paper, right? So he turned towards east, this direction, and walked 25 kilometers, right? And walked 25 kilometers. Now remember, when you're tracing this line 25 kilometers, it should be definitely longer than the initial line 15 kilometers, because both of them are parallel, right? From John's house, he went 15 kilometers west, then took 20 kilometers towards south. And now when he's traveling 25 kilometers towards east, it has to be two parallel lines, and of course, it will be longer than the initial line, because this will help you decide the direction eventually. If suppose he says, in which direction is he from his starting point, the length of these lines would matter. You don't have to draw it with a scale, but make sure that 25 is in line with 15 here, right? It should be definitely longer than 15. So he walked 25 kilometers in the east direction, and finally he turned left. Now, when he's facing east, turning left would mean going towards north, right? So he's going towards north. So finally turned left and walked 20 kilometers, covered 20 kilometers. So again, you observe this line, this vertical line is already 20, so this also would be 20, right? So he covers 20 kilometers. Finally, he covers 20 kilometers in the last leg. So which means he stopped here. So if you observe, if this is John's house, which was his starting point, right? And this is his finishing point, both the points will be in the same straight line. I mean, they'll be along this straight line, right? Now, how far is he from John's house? How far is he from John's house? Very simple. This is like a rectangular path, right? So the breadth is 20 and 20. This length is 25. So if here it is 15, this should be 25 minus 15, which is 10. So your answer should be option 1, 10 kilometers, right? Very simple. There's no scope for you to commit an error here, right? If somebody marked 5 kilometers, it is incorrect. 10 kilometers is the answer. And they can ask you a variety of questions, right? You can also ask in which direction is he from his starting point, right? Or in which direction should he move now to go back to John's house, and things like that. So very simple questions from directions. You have to just make sure that you trace the path properly and read the question properly. Okay. Now there's this question on ranking and ordering. Interesting one. Let's see how many of you get it right. Position of T is 7th from left corner and position of Q is 8th from right corner. If Amit is sitting exactly between both of them, then find out what could be the minimum number of strength of this Q. So minimum number of, what is the minimum strength of this Q basically? Minimum number of strength doesn't make sense. Yeah. What could be the minimum strength of this Q? Interesting question. I'll leave you with this for about 45 seconds. Let's see how many of you get the right answer. What is the minimum strength of this Q? 16 is what many of you have marked, right? But then some of you have got 15, 8, 9. Looks like you've covered all the options here. Amit is sitting exactly between both of them. Then find out what could be the minimum strength of this Q. 16 looks like the most common response. All right, time is up. Let us now check this and see what the answer is. Okay, so here we go. Look at it. Position of T is 7th from left corner and the position of Q is 8th from the right corner. If Amit is sitting exactly between both of them, then find out what would be the minimum strength of this Q, right? Let me tell you what most of the students do to get the answer here, right? And it looks like most of you have done the same here. Position of T is 7th from left corner. Let's assume this is the left corner, right? And here's the right corner of the Q, right? The left and the right corner. So position of T is 7th from left, right? So position of T is 7th from left. So from the left end, you have to come, 7 positions to get T. Right? This is T's position, let's say. T, he's 7th from the left end. Position of Q is 8th from the right end. Position of Q is 8th from the right end. So let's say Q is here, right? 8th from the right end. So from the right end, Q is 8th. Now he says Amit is sitting exactly between both of them. So Amit should be exactly between both of them. So Amit has to be between T and Q, right? Exactly between T and Q. What would be the minimum strength of this Q? What would be the minimum strength of this Q? Now, for us to have minimum strength, right? Focus on the word minimum. We want least number of persons to be in the Q. So what most of us would assume is that Amit is exactly between T and Q. Amit is exactly between T and Q. Meaning, there are no persons between, T and A and there are no persons between Q and A. Right? All three of them are together. And A is between T and Q. Which means the total count will now be what? See, T is 7th from the left end. Q is 8th from the right end and Amit is one person in between them, right? So if you observe, up to T there are 7 persons, right? Up to Q there are 8 persons and here in between there is 1 person because T and Q have already been counted in 7 and 8, so we should count only 1 person here in between. So what's the total? 7 plus 1 plus 8. 7 plus 1 plus 8, which is 16. And hence you mark the answer as option 3, 16. Yes or no? The minimum number of persons in this row would be 16, which is absolutely wrong. All those who have got 16 have made a mistake. Remember, we want minimum number of students. Now you have gone with an assumption that T, see the challenge here is we have assumed that T is on the left side of Q or Q is on the right side of T. You understand? T is on the left side of Q and Q is on the right side of T. But it could be the other way also. Meaning, let me explain something, right? This is the left end This is the left end, right? And here is the right end. What if T and Q cross each other and go on the opposite sides? Meaning T is 7 from the left hand, right? So T comes somewhere here. And Q is 8 from the right hand, Q goes somewhere there. And then Amit is in between them. So that way, for example, if you say Q is 8 from the right corner. So let's assume Q is the leftmost person, right? Q is 8 from the right corner, right? So Q is the leftmost person. This is Q's position and he's 8 from the right corner. 8 from the right corner. Now T is 7 from the left corner, so from the left corner T is 7th. So T is somewhere here, let's say 7th. T is in this position, he's 7th from the left. He's 7th from the left. So try to observe. I mean, what happens if you assume there are only 8 persons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the positions. This is leftmost position. This is the rightmost position. Right? There are 8 persons. So T is 7 from left corner. So first position. You understand? 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to do all this in the exam. I'm just trying to explain it in detail, right? So T is 7 from the left corner. So T's position will be this. Right? Q is 8 from the right corner. Q is 8 from the right corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Q will be this person. And Amit is exactly between T and Q. See, between T and Q, how many persons do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can Amit be the 4th person here? Exactly between T and Q, right? Between Amit and Q, there are 2 persons. Between Amit and T also, there are 2 persons. Yes or no? 2 persons between Q and A, 2 persons between T and A. So Amit comes out to be exactly between T and Q. And there will be 1 person who comes here in the 8th position. So can I not say that the minimum number of students in this queue can be just 8? Yes. And that is the reason 8 is your answer. See, the minimum cannot be 7th. 7th is a stupid answer. Option 4, 7 is stupid. Anybody who has marked 7 has not made a mistake. He has committed a crime. You cannot mark 7 as the answer. That's really stupid. Right? That's really stupid because Q's position itself is 8. So minimum 8 persons have to be there. Minimum 8 persons have to be there. It cannot be 7. So anything less than or equal to 7 can be ruled out directly. 7 cannot be the answer. 8 you can try. Now answer can be 9 also. See, luckily the point to be noted here is, now don't take a shortcut that whichever is the out of 7 and 8, whichever is maximum, that can be taken as the answer. 7 cannot be the answer, we know, because there are 8 persons already. So can we take 8 as the answer directly? No, that's not the shortcut. Don't derive that kind of a shortcut. Many students do that also. Because Q is 8, let's take 8 as the answer. No, answer can be 9 as well. It is possible that answer is 9. When is that possible? When will that happen? See here, between Q and T, how many positions we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of these 5 positions, we could give the middle one, the centermost one, to Amit. Because it said Amit is sitting exactly between both of them. But in some cases, it may so happen that between Q and T, we get only 4 positions. Or let's say we get 6 positions, even number of positions. If there are even number of positions, ideally even number of positions should not be there, but if there are even number of positions, then we may have to have 1 more person between them. You're getting it? I mean, that kind of an adjustment may be required. It need not be exactly between Q and T. It can be between Q and the right corner, or maybe between Q and the right corner, T and the right corner, and so on. You're able to follow. So don't go with an assumption that 8 will be the answer. For example, if this is, let's say, 16 and this is 22, then you take 22 as answer. No, that's not the shortcut. That is not the way it works. Right? You actually have to analyze and find out what could be the minimum strength. In this case, it is 8. Right? Q is the 8 person from the right hand, and that itself will give the total number of persons because we are able to satisfy all the conditions. This is model number 3 from ranking and ordering. If you have gone through our videos on ranking and ordering, in model 3 we have discussed this. That when such conditions are given, there are 2 possibilities, right? One person from left hand, the other person from the right hand. Both of them can be here, or both of them can cross their positions and go to the other ends, right? That changes the whole answer. So be careful when you're dealing with such questions. Okay, 8 is the answer. 8 is the answer to this question. Let us. I think let's take an arrangement now, and then we will move on to the other type of questions. So let's start with the first arrangement for the day. Now this is about 8 friends who have to be arranged in 2 parallel rows. 4 of them are facing north, the other 4 are facing south, and each of them has a favorite fruit. So we have to arrange the 8 persons in 2 rows and also find out who likes which fruit. So I'll leave you with this question for about 3 to 4 minutes. Try it out, and then we'll take up the solution. Here we go. I can see some of you commenting that let's take up some hard level questions. My worry is in the easier one, which was the previous question that we had solved. Many of you got the wrong answer. So it's not always that you go wrong in hard questions. You actually commit silly mistakes in the easy ones and take down your performance. So the idea is to just revisit the concepts, try to go with the flow. So let's see how many of you get this right. I'll leave you with this for at least 3 minutes. Your time starts now. I think Rushikesh is the only one who has done this, and then we have others who find that there are many possibilities. Karan says there are many possibilities. I'll wait for maybe another minute. Let's see how many of you are able to crack it. Alright, so we have Shubham, Pradeep, Saha, then Priya, Jyotsna, and Lakshmi who have done it. Some of you are still trying or are halfway. Well, the time is actually up. You cannot spend more than 3 minutes in your exam, 3 to 4 minutes in your exam. However, since we are practicing here, I'll allow you another 30-45 seconds so that those who are close to the completion can do it. Alright guys, the time is up. A regular arrangement type, right? I mean, the question of course is different, but we know that this is a popular format where we have to arrange persons in 2 different rows which are parallel to each other, and in each row we have somebody who's facing a person in the opposite row, right? And usually the top row guys are facing south, the guys in the bottom row are facing north. It is easier in this case, I would say, because there are only 8 persons to be arranged or only 4 persons per row. It gets really difficult when there are 5 or 6 persons to be arranged, right? Because more the number of variables, more complex it would be. So I think in terms of the number of people to be arranged, it looks to be simple. And secondly, with the number of attributes also, it appears to be an easy one because there are only 2 attributes. One is the person himself and the second one is the fruit that they like, right? Sometimes it can be with 3 or 4 attributes as well, right? Like find out the fruit that they like and the color that they like, or the sport that they like, or the company they work for, and things like that, or find out male, female, right? And ages and stuff like that. So I think when you read the first paragraph, you get the gist that this could be something that we can try out, right? It is worth trying in the exam. Like I said, when you're dealing with the reasoning section, you first attempt all the easier ones. By easier, I mean the ones which have got a definite method, the independent questions. Then you go for arrangements. Out of the 3-4 arrangements that are asked, you have to choose the one that appears to be easy. It can still be complex, but you have to go ahead with what you feel about it with the first paragraph. So this is something that you should pick up, right? Definitely pick up and give it a quick try, right? There can be 2 or 4 possibilities. Try with all of them. Eventually, you'll be left with only one. So I think many of you have done. I'm assuming others also will be able to crack it if some more time is given, but keeping the time constraint in mind, you have to practice more such questions so that you can improvise and get to the arrangement faster. Let's take this up now. Here we go. So read the first paragraph carefully and get the gist of the question here. What does it say? 8 friends A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H are sitting in 2 parallel rows containing 4 persons each, right? In row 1, A, B, C and D are sitting and face south. In row 2, we have E, F, G, H and these guys face north, right? Now remember, facing south and north here is very, very important, right? What is the importance or what is the significance of this? When a person is facing north, right, on paper, north would be taken in the upwards direction, right? So when a person is facing north, left of the person should be taken towards your left on the paper, right? Right of the person should be taken towards our right, okay? But when the person is facing south, left for that person will be towards our right on the paper and right of that person will be towards our left on the paper. Now this direction sense is very, very important. Whether it's a linear arrangement or a circular arrangement, you need to be very clear with how these persons are, which direction are they facing, right? So remember, north is like how you feel, right? Left is left and right is right. But when a person is facing south, for him left and right will be opposite to what your left and right is. Keep that in mind when you're answering such questions, okay? So Yeah, 4 persons in the top row are facing south, the 4 persons in the bottom row are facing north. Each member seated in a row faces another member of the other row. Moreover, each of them is holding a different fruit among apple, banana, chiku, cherry, mango, orange, peach and pear, but not necessarily in the same order. And then there are clues given to us, right? Neither G or H is holding mango, the one who's holding cherry or pear are not sitting on the first row and things like that. So let's see what should be the approach for this one. Okay, I think I've got some space here, let me try it out. Now, you know that we need to kind of get, I mean, it's like a linear arrangement. What I shall do is have this 1, 2, 3. So basically, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions. In each cell here, I have to put the name of the person as well as the fruit that the person likes. Remember, the guys in the top row are facing south and those in the bottom row are facing north. So they're facing each other, right? They're facing each other. So for top row, left should be towards our right, right should be towards our left. For the bottom row, left is left and right is right. That's the clarity, that clarity you must have. Now we may have to try out 2 such boxes or 4 such boxes depending on how many cases that we get. Okay, and then it's obvious that in the top row we have A, B, C, D. They're facing south, right? So A, B, C, D are going to take the top row. A, B, C, D. The bottom row will have E, F, G, H. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Now, let's read the first point. I think the start is very, very important, right? Out of all the clues given here, there can be something which gives you very precise and definite information. Like for example, B is on the left corner, let's say, for example. So you can straight away put B here in the left corner and then proceed, right? So let us first vouch for such information. If that's there, you start with that. Otherwise, you have to try out possibilities. So neither G nor H is holding mango. Now this can be useful information, but not immediately. Neither G nor H is holding mango doesn't give us anything at this point in time. The one who's holding cherry or pear are not sitting on the first row. Now this is important. It says the one who's holding cherry or pear are not sitting in the first row. So it's obvious that the fruits cherry and pear will come from the bottom row. Yes or no? It's important for us to know which fruit is in which row. So cherry and pear will come from the bottom row. This is first row, remember, and this is second row. Row 1 and row 2. So row 1 will not have cherry or pear. Okay. So I think that part of the clue is already noted here, right? We have pictorially noted here that cherry and pear are going to come in the bottom row. E sits to the left of F. E sits to the left of F also is useful, but I think we cannot do anything about it immediately. The one who's holding banana is sitting immediate right of B. The one who's holding banana is sitting on the immediate right of B. Now see, B is going to be in the top row, and the one who's holding banana is on the immediate right of B. So it's obvious that banana would come for the top row, right? The fruit banana is going to come for the top row. There are only 2 persons sitting between the one who's holding chiku and D. Only 2 persons between the one who's holding chiku and D. I would love to start with this statement. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah, so I think this is the best start for the puzzle. That there are 2 persons between the one who's holding chiku and D. Why is it so? See, there are total only 4 persons in each row. Totally, there are going to be only 4 persons in each row. And if he says there are 2 persons between chiku and D, it's obvious that chiku will be on the one extreme and D is going to be on the other extreme. Right? I mean, try to understand this pictorially. If you want 2 persons to be between D and the one who's holding chiku, they have to be at the extreme ends, right? Chiku and D have to be the extreme ends, because overall we have got only 4 persons. If D sits here, let's say if D sits here, then chiku should come in the 4th cell. Or if D sits here, chiku has to come in the 1st cell. In between, they'll have 2 persons. So it leads me with, it gives me only 2 possibilities. And I think that's the reason I prefer starting with this one. Right? So what I'll do is I'll make 2 boxes. I mean, you can just put lines also and start, but don't waste your time in too much of your time in doing this neatly, right? I'm doing it here so that you can follow, but in exam you don't get marks for neatness. So there are only 2 persons between chiku and D. So let's assume D is here, then the guy who's holding chiku should be in this cell. So 2 persons between chiku and D. What's the other possibility? This is possibility number 1. What is the other possibility? D can be here, and the guy is holding chiku is in this row. So in either case you find that there are 2 persons between chiku and D. Now if you look at the previous statement also, it gives us some clue. The one who's holding banana is sitting on the immediate right of B. The one who's holding banana is sitting on the immediate right of B. Remember, B is going to be in the top row, which means B is facing south, right? The one who's holding banana is on the immediate right of B. So how would it look like if B is here, let's say, if B is in this position, the guy who's holding banana should be on the immediate right of B. Banana should be on the immediate right of B. This guy is holding banana. He should be on the immediate right of B. This is immediate right of B. Right of B will be towards our left because B is in the top row and guys in the top row are facing south. So anybody who's holding banana should be on the immediate right of B. So what do I understand from this? Point number one is B cannot be in this position. B cannot come in this position. Yes or no? B cannot come in this position because if B is taking this position, banana has to go outside the box, which is not the case, right? You're able to follow. The guy who's holding banana will be thrown out of the arrangement. So B cannot be in the extreme position. B can be anywhere here out of these three places, right? And wherever B comes, the immediate right fruit has to be banana. So if you look at case number one now, there are multiple possibilities. You can take B here with D liking banana or D holding banana. B can come here with this person holding banana, or B can come in the last extreme position and banana can come here. Yeah. But if you look at case number two, tell me where can B come? There is only one way where B can be arranged in case number two. Can B come in this position? Here in the second box? No. Because if B comes here, this fruit should be banana, but it is already chiku. So B cannot come here. Can B come here? That's the only choice left. B comes here and the guy who likes banana sits here. And B of course cannot come here because it's already occupied by D. So we have also fixed B with respect to case number 2. B and banana with respect to case number 2. With respect to case 1, there are multiple possibilities. We shall not try out those possibilities immediately. If required, we will go ahead with that. Yeah. Okay, so move on. The one who's holding mango is on either of the two sides of the second row. The one who's holding mango is on either of the two sides of the second row. So clearly mango also would come for the bottom row. Right, second row he says. And it is on either of the two sides, which means mango either comes in this position, extreme position, or mango comes here. Yeah. Mango will either be in this cell or in this cell, extreme positions. While the one who's holding peach did not sit on row 2. Right, the one who's holding peach did not sit on row 2, meaning peach would come for the top row. So it's all about classifying fruits according to the rows, right? The one who likes peach or the one who holds peach will not come in the top row, in second row. So it has to come in the first row. The one who's holding chiku is facing F. The one who's holding chiku is facing F. Now chiku is already placed here, right? So chiku should be facing F. F comes here. The one who's holding chiku is facing F. So F is fixed. That's a very, very interesting statement. I mean, useful statement. Who sits at the extreme end? Now who here refers to whom? F. You know that, who always refers to the preceding person. So the one who's holding chiku is facing F. Who sits at the extreme end? F sits at the extreme end. Now the point is, we have already got F in the two extreme positions. I mean, either F sits on the right end or F sits on the left end. So strictly speaking, this piece of information that F sits at the extreme end is redundant for us. We don't even need that because we have already got the same thing. You're able to follow? F sits at the extreme end is redundant for us because we've already got F in those two positions. This tells us that you're reading the information very, very carefully and meticulously to find out all the hidden points as well. Right? This is a useless information. Whatever is highlighted in yellow is not required because we have already got that. D and B are neighbors. D and B are neighbors. Now this is interesting. D and B are neighbors. If D and B have to be neighbors, case 2 already we have got D and B to be neighbors. Look at case 1. D and B have to be neighbors. So obviously B has to come here. Right? There's only one neighboring position for D. And if B comes here, banana comes here. So B and banana are fixed in case 1 as well. D and B are neighbors and B is not holding peach. And B is not holding peach. Meaning peach will not come for this row. I mean for this column. B is not holding peach. In this case, B is not holding peach. But if you look at case number 2 now, see we know that peach definitely will come in first row only. Right? Peach has to come for the first row. If B is not holding peach, then here D has to hold peach because chiku and banana are already fixed for the first two cells. Peach cannot come here. So peach has to come here. Yeah. And in case number 1 as well, see banana and chiku are fixed. B cannot hold peach. So this guy who comes here has to hold peach. Okay. E is holding an apple. E is holding an apple and is facing the immediate neighbor of B. E is holding an apple and is facing the immediate neighbor of B. Now, where can that come? E is holding an apple and is facing an immediate neighbor of B. Well, see, E can take either this position or this position. See, E has to be facing the neighbor of B. Who are the neighbors of B? Neighbors of B are D or this person. E has to be facing one of those two persons. So E can either come in this position or in this position. In the second case, E can either come here or here. Right? However, if you recall, there was one statement which said E sits left of F. Very, very useful now. At that point of time, it was not useful, but now it's very useful. E sits on the left of F. E sits on the left of F. We know that both E and F are in the bottom row, meaning they are facing north. If E has to sit on the left of F, case number 2 goes wrong. Because you take E in any position, it comes out to be the right of F. This is right of F, this is right of F, and this also is right of F. Which means case 2 is actually wrong. We don't have to worry about case 2 now. We don't have to go ahead with case 2. E has to be on the left of F. Left of F will be any one of these three positions. Right? So case 2 is eliminated now. Only case 1 is left and we shall deal with it. We'll try to fix the gaps. So E sits on the left of F. That point helped us eliminate case 2. Now E can either be this or this. One of those two positions. The one who's holding peach faces neither G nor A. The one who's holding peach. Okay, the one who's holding peach faces neither G nor H. So G or H cannot come here. Remember, G or H cannot come here because the one who's holding peach is not facing those two persons. A is at an extreme end. A is at an extreme end. A will come in the top row, right? A is at the extreme end, so A has to come here. And then who's left out for the top row? A, B, C, D. A, B, D are available, so this has to be C. So I think with respect to top row, the arrangement is done. A, B, C, A, D. One fruit is left out. Do we know what that fruit is? Banana, peach, chiku are already done. Okay. Okay. Now observe. Observe how do we fill the gaps here. Who are all going to come in the bottom row? E, F, G and H. If you look at this particular cell, G and H cannot come here. In this cell, which is opposite to C, G and H cannot come because it was told that the one who is holding peach is not facing G or H. So G and H cannot come here. F has already come here. So out of G, H and F, if these three cannot come in this place, the only person who can occupy this place is E. And we know that E is holding mango. Somewhere it was given, right? The one who's holding... No, E is holding mango. Yeah. E is holding apple, sorry. E is holding an apple. You read this term? E is holding an apple. So E comes here with apple. Right? And G and H I think will take these two positions, but in what sequence we can't confirm. So I think we have read all the points. We have no clue about what G and H, what positions will G and H take. And some fruits are also left out. So let's try it out. Neither G nor H is holding mango. See, we know that G and H will be taking these two positions. And they are not holding mango. Neither G nor H is holding mango. Mango has to come in the bottom row. But it cannot come for these two positions because G and H will not hold mango. So if mango cannot come in first cell and second cell, mango has to come for F. Right? So what are the fruits for the bottom row? Apple, mango. And we already know that cherry and pear will also come here. Cherry and pear. So bottom row fruits are apple, mango, cherry and pear. So obviously remaining fruits will be for the top row. And in the top row we have already got banana, peach and chiku. We have got banana, we have got peach and we have got chiku. So what is left out? Orange. Orange has to come here. Orange has to come for B. Yeah. But the question that arises now is how do we fix G and H? There is no information given with regards to G and H. The only points that were given were neither G or H is holding mango. Fine. So mango is held by F. That is okay. Anything else about G and H? The one who's holding mango is on either of the two sides of the second row. Mango is on the end of the second row. Yeah, the one who's holding peach faces neither G nor H. The one who's holding peach faces neither G nor H. So I think with respect to G and H, we don't have any more information. So we have to consider, like G or H here, and accordingly H or G here. Because information has not been given. And I think with respect to fruits also, while apple and mango have been placed, this cherry and pear will be occupied by G and H. It can be cherry or pear in first and second, or vice versa. You understand? There's no information given with respect to cherry and pear anymore. Yeah. So I think cherry versus pear will be for first and second row. I mean for first and second cell here. I should have taken bigger boxes. I'm sorry. Let me just clear this up. So you don't have to do all this in the exam. Just for the sake of clarity, I'm going to make it. Yeah. So I think we've got the solution, but G and H are not fixed and cherry and pear are not fixed. So I think cherry / pear will take these two boxes. That's the final arrangement. I'll read it out. D, B, C, A in the top row. G, H versus H, G in the first two cells, and E, F in the bottom row. With respect to fruits, banana, orange, peach and chiku in the top row. With respect to fruits in the bottom row, it is cherry versus pear in the first two positions, followed by apple and mango. Followed by apple and mango. Right? So what do you understand? The point is, you will always have multiple possibilities to try with, right? You may have to try with 2 or 4 or sometimes even 8 possibilities. But like I said, when we read the first paragraph of this puzzle, we realized that it's not going to give you too much of complexity because only 2 attributes and only 4 people in each row, right? 4 persons in each row. But then sometimes even these kind of questions can get really complex, right? You may have to deal with many possibilities. Like in this case, actually, if you see, there are 4 possible answers. Because G and H are not fixed, I can have G, H or HG, right? 2. But again, fruits will give you 2 more possibilities, right? G can like cherry or G can like pear. Accordingly, H will like pear or cherry. So as such, if you see, there are 4 possible answers, but we will not write down all the 4 of those, right? Just move on to the questions and see, you will be able to answer most of the questions, right? Because if one more point were given, we could have closed it. You know, the perfect answer would have been obtained, but I think it is like this. So it's simple. The approach is simple. Read the first paragraph, get the gist of the puzzle, right? First, your start is very, very important, right? How are you going to start the puzzle plays a key role in the number of possibilities that you would get, right? So like when we read the statement, right, that there are 2 people between D and Chiku, it was obvious for me to start with that because it will give me only 2 possibilities, right? Something which gives more than 2 possibilities, I would not like to try with. First of all, try to fix something that is directly given, like D is in the first cell, or the one who likes mango is on the left end. Try to find out things like that, right? That will help you reduce the number of possibilities, and then start with something that is giving you only 2 options, only 2 possibilities, right? You cannot start with, something like E sits left of F. E sits left of F, there are, 4 or 5 ways of doing it, right? So start is very important. Fill the gaps according to the points given there, and then read in between the lines to fill up the remaining gaps. Let us quickly read the questions and answer the questions as well, right? There are 5 questions asked here. Let's see what the answers are. Okay, here's the first one. You see what it says? 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way based on their seating positions and so form a group. Which of the following is different from that group? So classification based question. We have to find out which fruit does not belong to that group here. Okay? Apple, orange, cherry, mango, chiku. I think the obvious thing that strikes is maybe 4 of these are in one row and the 5th one can be taken as the odd one. So apple, orange, cherry, mango, chiku. Apple, orange, cherry, mango, chiku. No, I don't get any clue there. What is it? Apple, orange, cherry, mango, chiku. Apple is here, orange is here, cherry is here, mango is here, chiku is there. Apple, orange, cherry, mango, chiku. So orange and chiku are in the top row, remaining are in the bottom row. So that classification doesn't help. What else can be a classification? How can you classify these? 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way. What is that certain way? Apple, orange, cherry, mango, chiku. What's the idea? I thought row classification will help, but that's not helping us. Okay, I see many of you have marked the answer as apple. Some of you have marked the answer as chiku. Many say it's cherry. because cherry's fixed position is not known. See, classification sometimes can lead you with, can leave you with multiple answers. You always have to go with the one which you think is the, which actually is very reasonable. I mean, the reasoning that you give behind that has to be solid. Yeah, like some of you are saying cherry is the answer because the position of all the other fruits are fixed. Yeah, apple, orange, mango and chiku are fixed. If you see, apple, orange, mango and chiku are fixed except cherry. So that could be one reason. The other way of classifying could be, maybe 4 fruits are the extreme fruits, like banana, chiku, mango and cherry. But banana is not given in this. So that classification also doesn't help. Sometimes they give you all the 4 middle fruits, orange, peach, apple and something, but that also doesn't help. So I think cherry looks appropriate based on the logic that you guys are giving, right? Cherry's exact position is not known. Why do you say apple is the answer? Many of you have mentioned apple. Let me understand the reasoning behind that. Why do you think apple is the answer? Okay, some of you are saying that chiku faces mango, which is correct here. Orange faces cherry. So apple is the only one which has not got its opposite fruit in the list. But that cannot be taken as a reason because we are not sure if orange really faces cherry or pear, right? There are 2 options available there. Orange can either face cherry or pear. So you just can't go with that reasoning. Yeah, I think apple, the reasoning behind apple is not appropriate in my view. Chiku faces mango, orange faces cherry, so apple is left over. You cannot decide that because cherry's exact position is not known to us. Yeah, I think I would, if I were taking this exam, I would go ahead with cherry for the fact that its position is not fixed, right? Cherry is not fixed. All the other fruits are fixed in terms of their positioning there. Yeah, so let's go ahead with cherry. Let me present the next question now. Look at the next question. Which of the following pair is incorrect, right? Read it carefully. Which of the following pair is incorrect? So D banana, I'll have to go back to the previous slide. D banana, A chiku. Let's check. Is D banana is correct. A chiku is also correct. F mango also is correct. What do we have? C peach and H cherry. C peach is also correct. H cherry may be correct. You getting it? We are not sure about H and cherry. So I think, strictly speaking, you cannot say H cherry is the answer because that may or may not be correct, but remaining are all definitely correct, right? D banana is correct, A chiku is correct, F mango is correct and C peach is also correct, right? Yeah, so I think these are definitely true and hence cannot be the answers. H cherry looks like the best answer there, right? H cherry is the best answer because that may be incorrect. Who is sitting opposite to C? Who's opposite to C? Opposite to C is the one who likes apple or E. E. Who's sitting opposite to C? It's E. Who among the following is holding pear? Who's holding pear? Pear will either be G or H, right? G or H. H, no. G, no. Can't be determined, right? The best answer is can't be determined because it can be G or H. Be careful, sometimes one of the options may say G or H. So you have to go for that option, right? Strictly speaking, cannot be determined is the answer here. But if one of the options has got G or H, like for example, let's say if option 4 says G or H, then we will go ahead with option 4. Because G or H is a better answer than saying cannot be determined. Okay. However, in this case, it is option 5, can't be determined. And the last one here, which of the following fruit is B holding? What is B holding? B is holding orange. Yes. Orange, option 3 is the answer. So I think that brings us to the end of that arrangement. The arrangement of 8 persons in a set of 2 rows. Let's take a circular arrangement. It's been long that we have done a circular arrangement. We have one here. It says there are 8 friends who are sitting around a circular table. 3 of them are facing outwards and the remaining are facing the center. Seema and Geeta are 2 girls among them. Each one of them likes a different color, right? Blue, green, violet, white, yellow, pink, red and black. So I think again an arrangement, circular arrangement, 8 persons who have to be arranged around a circular table. Some are facing center while others are facing outwards, right? And in fact they have specified that 3 of them are facing outwards while remaining are facing center. Each one has a favorite color, right? So there's only one attribute, right? The color also has to be arranged in line with the person there. So try it out. Here's the question. looks like something that you must try in the exam. I mean, if you have to choose between 2-3 puzzles, this you should take up. Of course, the complexity is we do not know who's facing center and who's facing outwards. Again, remember, like we had discussed in case of linear arrangement, north and south is important. When it comes to a circular arrangement, whether they're facing center or outwards is going to be very, very important. Right? So what happens, for those who are not aware, when a person is facing the center of a circular table or center of any table, square table, rectangular table, triangular table, the shape doesn't matter. But if the person is facing the center of the table, left has to be taken in the clockwise direction, right should be taken in the anti-clockwise direction. Just visualize yourself in that position, right? You're facing the center of this table. You're facing a group of people, right? Left is clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. But when you're facing outwards, it is the opposite, right? When a person is facing outwards, left becomes anti-clockwise and right would be taken in the clockwise direction. So be careful. The direction sense, like I said, is very, very important for you to be able to complete these kind of arrangements. Okay, so I'll present the question now, leave you with this for about 3 minutes again. Let's see how many of you get it right. Your clock starts now. All right, looks like many of you have cracked it already. So let's take this up now. Here we go. Read the first paragraph and get the gist, right? That's the first step. 8 friends, Seema, Suresh, Mahesh, Sudhir, Karan, Geeta, Raj and Sushil are sitting around a circular table. 3 of them face outward and 5 are facing towards the center, right? So 3 of these guys are facing outward. These 3 guys would have left in their anti-clockwise direction and right in the clockwise direction. These 5 who are facing the center will have left in the clockwise direction and right in the anti-clockwise direction, right? Be very, very clear about the direction sense. Right? People who face center, people who face outwards. Right? What is right and what is left. So somebody is facing center, for him right is anti-clockwise. Left is clockwise. And for outwards it is opposite. So for a person who is facing outwards, right is clockwise and left is going to be anti-clockwise. You have to know this by heart. Okay? Then Seema and Geeta are 2 girls among them. Seema and Geeta are 2 girls among them. Each one of them likes a different color among blue, green, I guess spelled incorrectly, but yeah, blue, green, violet, white, yellow, pink, red and black, right? So 8 colors and 8 persons there. Okay, and then there are a number of clues given to us. So I think let's start. Some points are given directly, like Geeta likes pink color, Sushil sits opposite Mahesh. So some information is directly available, but the start of the puzzle is very, very important, right? As such, a circular arrangement can be started from wherever you want, right? I mean, if you have gone through our basic videos, you would know that when you're doing a circular arrangement, we have 8 positions here, right? Let's say this is a circular table, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 positions. You can consider any one position here, any position here as the first position. And relatively, you can mark the other ones, right? That's the advantage of a circular arrangement. You can start from wherever you want and accordingly fill the gaps. In case of a linear arrangement, suppose if there is a linear arrangement of 8 persons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, you cannot start from wherever you want. In this case, this is the first position. This is the second position, the third position and so on. Right? This is 1, 2, 3. It is fixed, already fixed. But in a circle, there is no starting point, right? Can you tell me which is the starting point of the circle? No. It's a closed loop. So any position can be taken as the starting position. Okay? So let's try. I think I'll write here. So let me take a circular table and mark 8 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see which is the best way to start here. Suresh and Raj face towards the center. Well, it is useful. It is very, very useful to know that Suresh and Raj face towards the center, because that will help us decide what is the left and what is the right. Okay. So we know the left and right. And the person who likes green is second to the left of Raj. So I think I would like to start with the first point itself. We know that Raj faces center and the person who likes green is second to the left of Raj. So let's assume this is Raj's position, right? Raj, he faces center. The person who likes green is second to the left of Raj. Second to the left of Raj. Now left of Raj. What is left of Raj? Clockwise, right? The person who likes green is second to the left of Raj. First and second, green comes here. Right? Green comes here. Second to the left of Raj. This is left of Raj, clockwise, right? First and second. Suresh also faces center, but what is his position here is not known to us. But Suresh faces center is very clear. Seema and Raj are facing each other. Now what does it mean? Seema and Raj are facing each other. See, on a circular table, two persons would be facing each other only when they are seated opposite to each other. So if Seema has to face Raj, there's no choice but Seema has to come here. Seema and Raj are facing each other. Right? Seema and Raj are facing each other and facing the same direction as Suresh. What does it mean? See, we already know that Suresh is facing towards the center. So Seema and Raj are also facing center. Raj is anyway facing center, we know. Seema also is facing center. So what has been given indirectly here is Seema is facing center. Okay. Next, Sudhir faces outward and sits opposite Suresh, who likes black color. Now there's some information available here, but I don't think we can use it immediately. What we know is Suresh likes black color. Who here refers to Suresh? Sudhir faces outward and he's opposite to Suresh. Sudhir is opposite to Suresh. So whichever position Suresh takes, let's say if Suresh takes this position, Sudhir will be in the opposite position. But Sudhir faces outward and Suresh likes black color. So we cannot fix the position of Suresh here, can we? It's not possible immediately, right? I mean, it's not possible as in we'll get multiple possibilities. Suresh can come here or here or here, or in this position or in this position. There are 5 possibilities for Suresh. Tell me, why can't we take Suresh in this place? Because we know Suresh likes black color and this person here likes green color. Now, nobody's going to try with those 5 possibilities, so we'll come back to that statement later. Let's move to the next point. Geeta and Seema sit next to each other. Geeta and Seema sit next to each other. This means what? Geeta and Seema are neighbors. So Geeta can either be on the left of Seema or on the right of Seema. Right? Geeta can be on the left or right of Seema. Then he says Geeta, who faces outward, sits opposite to the one who likes blue color. So I think, and then Geeta likes pink color. So I guess fixing Geeta is important here because that will help us connect with other points. So let me take this is, let's say, possibility number 1. I'll take Geeta here, and in possibility 2 I'll take Geeta on the other side. So what we'll do now is duplicate case number 1 immediately. Duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 very quickly. Then this is Raj. We have Seema here, right? And this person likes green color is what we already know. Right? Very quickly fix Geeta. Now, where can Geeta come? Geeta can either be on this side of Seema or this side of Seema. That's it. So these are the 2 possibilities with respect to Geeta and Seema. Right? Geeta and Seema sit next to each other. So that point is also done. Geeta, who faces outward. Geeta faces outward. Remember, Geeta faces outward. So one person who faces outward so far is Geeta. Sits opposite to the one who likes blue color. Sits opposite to the one who likes blue color. Geeta is opposite to the one who likes blue color. So Geeta's opposite position is this. This guy likes blue color. In the second case, Geeta's opposite position is this. This person likes blue color. Right? Yellow is liked by one of the 2 girls. Who are the 2 girls, by the way? Seema and Geeta are the 2 girls. We already know that. Yellow is liked by one of the 2 girls. So either Seema or Geeta likes yellow. But if you see the next statement here, it says Geeta likes pink color. It's definite. Geeta likes pink color. So fix pink for Geeta. Here also Geeta likes pink. And then it's obvious that Seema would like yellow color because one of the 2 girls have to like yellow. If it is not Geeta, then it has to be Seema. So Seema likes yellow color. Looks like an easy one, right? Yellow is liked by one of the 2 girls. Yeah. Next point. Mahesh sits third to the right of Geeta. Mahesh sits third to the right of Geeta. See, Geeta is facing outwards. For a person facing outwards, right would be clockwise. So take Mahesh third to the right of Geeta. First, second, third. Mahesh has to come here. In the second case, Geeta is outwards, right? First, second, third. Mahesh has to come here. Now tell me, can Mahesh and Raj both come in the same position? No. Geeta is facing outwards. Mahesh is third to the right of Geeta. First, second, and third clockwise. So Mahesh is colliding with Raj's position here, which means case 2 is wrong. Forget about it. Just go ahead with case 1 now. And likes violet color. Mahesh sits third to the right of Geeta and likes violet color. Remember, whenever we use a conjunction like and but and things like that, we refer to the first person in this statement, who is Mahesh. Mahesh likes violet color. Yeah. Sushil sits opposite to Mahesh. Sushil sits opposite to Mahesh. So this person is Sushil. I don't have to worry about case number 2 now because it's already eliminated, right? Sushil is opposite to Mahesh. Sudhir, who sits second to the right of the... Okay, Sudhir sits second to the right of the one who likes blue color. Sudhir sits second to the right of the one who likes blue color. See, the one who likes blue color is here. Now, what is second to the right of this person? See, second to the right of this person can be taken clockwise or anti-clockwise, both, right? because we do not know if this person is facing center or outwards. So Sudhir is second to the right of blue. Suppose you go clockwise, what happens? First and second, Sudhir comes here. If you go anti-clockwise, first and second, Sudhir comes here. Both are possible. So I think this statement is not useful immediately. We'll come back to this later. Right? Sudhir is second to the right of blue color guy. I mean, not the blue color guy, the guy who likes blue color. Raj likes red color and Sudhir likes white. Raj likes red color. Okay, let's fix that. Sudhir likes white. Suresh sits between Seema and Mahesh. Suresh sits between Seema and Mahesh. See, Suresh sits between Seema and Mahesh, so it's obvious that Suresh will come here. Exactly. I mean, as such, we can say this person is also between Seema and Mahesh. But in the context here, Seema, Mahesh and Suresh are all three together. Suresh sits between Seema and Mahesh. Okay, now go back to this point. Sudhir is second to the right of blue color. So can I go in the anti-clockwise direction now? Second to the right of blue, first and second. Can Sudhir come here? No, because this is blocked by Suresh. Yes or no? So Sudhir has to come here, first and second. Sudhir comes here. Now observe, Sudhir is second to the right of blue. Right of blue comes out to be clockwise. Yes or no? We have taken Sudhir in the clockwise direction of blue. First and second in the clockwise direction. So if right is in the clockwise direction, meaning the person is facing outwards. So this person faces outwards. Yes or no? Right is clockwise only when the person is facing outwards. So now we are able to establish that the guy who likes blue color faces outwards. Who is that guy, by the way? I think all the other names have come. Sudhir, Sushil, Geeta, Seema, Suresh, Mahesh and Raj. Who's the one whose name has not come? Karan, I guess, right? Karan. So this has to be Karan. Karan likes blue color. With respect to colors, I think pink, yellow, violet, blue, red, green are done. There was some statement about white, right? Something which said white. Sudhir likes white. Sudhir likes white. Yeah, this guy likes white color. And the only color left out is black. In fact, we knew that Suresh likes black color. You see, Suresh likes black color. So done. The arrangement is done, right? All the persons, all the names have come, but still what is pending is which three are facing outwards. Geeta is facing outwards. Karan is facing outwards. Who else is facing outwards? Sudhir faces outward. This statement, do you see? Sudhir faces outward. Yeah, so we know these three persons face outward. Geeta, Sudhir and Karan. All the others will face inwards. I think end of the solution. Yeah. Answering the questions would be very, very easy. I mean, that's like a cakewalk, right? Who is fifth to the right of Geeta? Fifth to the right of Geeta. Where's Geeta? Geeta is here, right? Right of Geeta. Remember, right of Geeta would be clockwise because Geeta is facing outwards. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Fifth to the right of Geeta is Raj. Raj, yeah, option 3. They three are alike in a certain way, while one is not. Find the odd one. Okay, so out of these 4, 3 are similar and one is not. Which is that one? Raj, Seema. What is Raj, Seema? Raj, Seema are opposite to each other, right? Maybe that's the idea. Raj and Seema are opposite to each other. Suresh, Sudhir, Karan, Geeta. Karan, Geeta are opposite. Suresh, Sudhir are also opposite. Seema, Mahesh. Seema and Mahesh are not opposite. Seema, Mahesh should be the answer. Option 4. Who among the following likes blue color? Who likes blue color? Blue color is Karan. Karan, yes. Option 5. How many persons sit between the person who likes white color and the person who likes black color? How many persons sit between the person who likes white color and the person who likes black color? See, there will be 2 answers for such questions. I don't know why have they not given both the answers. How many persons sit between the one who likes white color and the one who likes black color? It is possible that there are 2 answers. Unless white and black are opposite each other, there are going to be 2 answers for this one. Where is white? Yeah. See, the point is, why did I tell you that there will be 2 answers? Because in which direction should we go? Should we go clockwise from white or anti-clockwise from white? You understand? Between white and black. I mean, if you see, white is here. Go in the clockwise direction from white. 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 between white and black, right? Black is here, there are 3 between white. Go in the anti-clockwise direction from white. 1, 2, 3. Luckily, since black and white are opposite to each other, we will have same number of persons on either sides. So answer can be taken as 3. That there are 3 persons between the one who likes white color and the one who likes black color. But if they are not opposite, then there will be 2 possible answers. Clockwise may give you one number, anti-clockwise may give you another number. For example, let's say black and red. For example, let's consider black and red. Between black and red, how many persons are there? Now, if you go in the anti-clockwise direction from red, there are only 2 persons, Karan and Mahesh. But when you go in the clockwise direction, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 persons, or 4 persons. 1, 2, 3, 4 persons. Yeah. Because black and white were opposite, we got the same answer. 3. Either ways, it's 3. But then there can be 2 answers possible. So you should say cannot be determined. Strictly speaking, you should say cannot be determined when they are not opposite each other. Yeah, so I think that brings us to the end of the circular arrangement. Was the easy one in my view. So I think what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that read the first paragraph of all the puzzles given to you and try to figure out which one would probably be an easy one, right? It's not always true that something which appears to be easy is easy to crack, right? Or something which is really difficult from the first paragraph is actually difficult. We can't generalize that, but yeah, most of the cases, the first paragraph will tell you how complex can this get. And it also depends on the number of puzzles that you have solved during your practice, right? I had told you that solve one complex puzzle every day. Don't worry about the time that you take. You take 1 hour to solve that puzzle, doesn't matter. But solve one really complex puzzle every day. How will that help you? Well, it may not really help you in terms of time, but it will help you think divergently. You understand? What matters in complex puzzles is not what is directly given there. What matters there is how do you fill the gaps? How do you find out that hidden information, right? How do you read between the lines to extract what is not directly presented there? And that can come to you only when you've done thorough practice, right? I still say the best way to solve puzzles in the exam is not to solve. Skip and move to the next one. First solve the easier ones, only towards the end take up 1 or 2 puzzles. And when you take up, when time comes to choose the puzzle, choose depending on the number of attributes and the confidence that you have after reading the first paragraph. Okay? But practice every day. While you have to skip it in the exam, I think you should practice it every day. Well, there are more questions. Time is already up, but then we'll take up one more. Hold on. Okay, you just have to give me some time. I've closed the presentation by mistake. Just give me a second. Yeah, so what we'll do now is maybe take up one more puzzle, because puzzles is where many of you face difficulty, right? Should we take up a floor-based puzzle? Any comments here? गुंजन से सर मंथ एंड डेट बेस्ड पजल कराओ जो अभी एग्ज़ाम में पैटर्न आती है. वेल गुंजन, आई डोंट थिंक कि मेरे पास अभी कोई मंथ और डेट बेस्ड पजल है, बट हमने ऐसे पजल्स काफ़ी बार सॉल्व किए हैं, राइट? जिसमें वो देयर आर 2 पर्टिकुलर डेट्स एंड 4 मंथ्स एंड यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट द सीक्वेंस. सिंपल होते हैं, लाइक देखने में कॉम्प्लेक्स लगेंगे बट सॉल्व करना ईजी होता है, आसान होता है. यू कैन रिफर टू आवर वीडियोज़, राइट? वी हैव solved many such puzzles in the past. By many I mean 4 or 5, right? Not like many. You can watch those videos and get an idea of how to approach such questions. Anything else? Any other comment there? Blood relation based puzzle again, Arjun. While we have solved it, I don't have any blood relation based puzzle here. Those also have been done in our earlier sessions. We have solved, like, if not more, about 4 or 5 blood relation based puzzles where you have to do a blood relation among 8 persons. You have to understand the blood relations and then also arrange them, right? Really complex ones. And the best part of such puzzles is if it comes in the exam, you don't have to solve it. Take it for granted. Don't attempt those puzzles. You would be behaving stupid if you choose a blood relation based puzzle in the exam, right? If that is the only puzzle asked in the exam, and there are like 5-6 minutes left, spare 5-6 minutes where you have nothing else to do, then maybe you can give it a try. Whether you'll be able to crack it or not is still a question mark, right? But that should be like the thing that you attempt only if there's nothing else to do and there is time left. Okay, do not attempt blood relation based puzzles in the exam. But yeah, you can practice, watch our videos for that thing. Okay, should we take up this floor based puzzle? Let's try this. Where is it? I've lost it. Oh yeah, here we go. So 7 players, I think we have got 2 attributes here. 7 players, P, Q, R, S, T, U and V, who are from 3 different cricket teams, right? India, England and Australia, who live on different floors of a 7-floor building. Each player is featured in a popular ad campaign among Pepsi, TVS Motors, Videocon and so on. So you have to arrange 7 players on 7 different floors of a building. You have to find out which country do they play for, India or England or Australia, and also find out which ad campaign did they participate in, right? Again, I think something that should definitely try in the exam, right? Should not be taking more than 3.5 minutes. So here we go. Let's see how many of you get the solution. Okay, if you want me to solve blood relation based puzzles, I will take it up in the next session. I don't have anything ready immediately. Lakshmi, I'm reading your comment here. We'll probably take it up in our doubts clarification session this weekend. Nageshwar Rao says, one doubt, more than 5 players is given. Where should we place S? Well, that exactly is the starting point of the puzzle, Nagesh. What do you mean by more than 5? More than 5 is at least 6. That is a clue. So you decide where you should place on first floor or second floor. Done. I think Pradeep, Milan and who else has done it? Only 2 of them, right? Pradeep and Milan. How about others? Still trying, huh? Abhinash is still trying. And so is Ram Kumar. Okay, last 1 minute and then we'll take it up. Since only 2 of you have got it, I'm giving 1 more minute, post which we shall take it up. Okay, time is up. Let's go ahead with the solution now. Here we go. 7 players, P, Q, R, S, T, U and V are from 3 different cricket teams among India, England and Australia, live on different floors of a 7-floor building numbered 1 to 7. The lowermost floor of the building is numbered 1, the one above the floor is number 2 and so on till the topmost floor is number 7. Okay. Each one of the players is featured in 7 different very popular ad campaigns among Pepsi, TVS, Videocon, Orient Fans, Boost, Revital and Dabur, but not necessarily in the same order. Not more than 3 and not less than 2 players are from the same country. Right? So important. 7 players, P, Q, R, S, T, U and V. 7 players, right? P, Q, R, S, T, U and V from 3 different cricket teams, India, England and Australia. The last point says not more than 3 and not less than 2 players are from the same country. So minimum 2 players from each country and maximum 3, right? From each country we can have 2 to 3. Minimum 2 players have to be there, maximum 3. There cannot be more than 3, there cannot be less than 2. Okay. So it's obvious that if there are 7 players and if I have to have minimum 2 from each country, each of the countries will have 2, 2, 2, minimum 2. So that makes it 6. One of the countries will have 3 players. See, already 2, 2 and 2, 6 players are done. The 7th player will be from any one of these 3 countries. So one country will have 3 players, the other 2 countries are going to have 2 players each. Okay, keep that in mind. That's very, very important. One country will have 3 players, the other 2 countries will have 2 players each. So 7 persons have to be arranged on a 7-floor building number 1 to 7. Bottommost floor is number 1 and the topmost floor is number 7. And each of them are from different campaigns. Pepsi, TVS Motors, Videocon, Orient Fans, Boost, Revital and Dabur. And then there are clues given to us. Right? So let's try this. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so let me just list down the floor numbers first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These are the 7 floors. Now, let's fill what is directly given first and then we will try to fill the gaps. There are more than 5 players who live above S, who is an England cricketer and does not endorse Orient Fans. A lot of information is given there if you observe, right? There are more than 5 players. More than 5 players who live above S, who is an England cricketer. So S is from England and does not endorse Orient Fans. He does not endorse Orient Fans. Now this tells us immediately that S is on the first floor. How do we say that? See, there are more than 5 players above S. More than 5 meaning what? More than 5. More than 5 means minimum 6. More than 5. When you say more than 5, it is greater than 5. Greater than 5 is 6. Minimum 6, right? It can be 6 or 7. It can't be 7 because 7 players cannot live above S. Totally there are 7 players. When there are totally 7 players, we cannot say 7 players live above S. Then S will become the 8th player, right? So more than 5, the only choice here is 6. There are 6 players. Indirectly he says there are 6 players who live above S. If 6 players live above S, S has to be on the first floor. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players live above S. Yes or no? So that's, I think, a very useful start, right? Very good start. There are 6 players above S. So S is on the first floor. S is from England. S is from England. And does not endorse Orient fans. So what brand he endorses, we don't know, but he does not endorse Orient fans. Just make a note of it. So Orient cannot come for the first floor. Okay. Next point. P does not live on an even numbered floor. Now what do you mean by this? P does not live on an even numbered floor. See, the one challenge that we have while we are solving such kind of puzzles is that you have to read a lot. And reading the same point again and again would be time consuming. So now when you know that P does not live on an even number floor, you try to make a picture out of it. Try to represent the same data, same statement in a pictorial format. So if P is not an even number floor, P can be on first or third or fifth or seventh floor. Make a note of that somewhere. And that point has to be satisfied when you are doing the arrangement. You're getting it? This strategy helps you save a lot of time, right? We will not read that statement again. P lives on an even number floor, or P does not live on an even number floor will not be read again because it's time consuming. So what we will do is immediately make a picture of it. P will live on odd number floor. P lives on odd number floor. So I'll say P will either belong to first or third or fifth or seventh floor, and of which first is ruled out because first floor is already blocked by S. So P can be 3 or 5 or 7. I'll not go back to that statement again. Okay. Next, there are 3 Indian cricketers who live on alternate floors. There are 3 Indian cricketers. So we know that India will have 3 players. India will have 3 players. Obviously, England and Australia will have then 2 players each. Yes or no? Total 7 players are there. And this minimum maximum condition is also satisfied. Not more than 3, not less than 2 condition is satisfied. India 3, England, Australia 2 each. So there are 3 Indian cricketers who live on alternate floor. Now there are 2 choices. Who live on alternate floor, meaning what? Suppose Indian cricketers is on second floor, then second, 4, 6 are Indian cricketers. Or 3, 5, 7 are Indian cricketers. They are on alternate floors. They cannot be together. They are on alternate floors. They cannot be together. So either 2, 4, 6 goes for Indian players, 2, 4, 6 or 3, 5, 7. If you can figure out whether it is 2, 4, 6 or 3, 5, 7, I think a lot of simplicity will come in, right? But then we don't know as of now. So we'll live with that point, right? Just remember there are 3 Indian players who live on alternate floors, either 2, 4, 6 or 3, 5, 7. One of the England players promotes TVS Motors and lives below V. So just make a note of this again. One of the England players promotes TVS Motors and he lives below V. So if let's say V comes somewhere, the England player will come below V and he promotes TVS. Now below does not mean exactly below. It can be anywhere below V. Right? Remember there is a difference between exactly below and below. One of the England players promotes TVS Motors and lives below V. Promotes TVS Motors, lives below V. It can be immediately below V or there can be multiple people between V and this England player. So just this dot 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 here indicates there can be multiple people. R who endorse Revital lives above V. R who endorse Revital lives below V. Another point. So R who endorses Revital lives below V. Now, is it immediately below or not? We don't know. So there are 2 points here, 2 pieces of information. England player lives below V, he promotes TVS. R lives below V, he promotes Revital. One of the England cricketers endorse Pepsi. So clear, one England cricketer will endorse TVS, the other England cricketer will endorse Pepsi. So we know the brands promoted by England players, right? TVS and Pepsi. There are 4 players between T and the one who endorse Orient fans. Now this again is useful information. There are 4 players between T and the one who endorsed Orient fans. How does this help us? See, we know that between T and Orient there have to be 4 players. For example, if this is T, there will be 4 players between T and Orient. Of course, T and Orient can interchange their positions. So T 1, 2, 3, 4 people and then Orient fans, or Orient fans here at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 people and then T. If you observe, this set has got 6 people. This set altogether has got 6 people in it. T is one of the persons. The one who promotes Orient fans is the other person. And there are 4 people between them. Total 6 persons. It's obvious that this 6 person will be 2 to 7 in that sequence. Because first floor cannot be T. It is S. First floor cannot be Orient fans. We already know. So this set of 6 people will be from 2 to 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the question is, who comes on second floor? Does Orient come on second floor or does T come on second floor? You are able to follow. If T comes on second floor, then Orient will go to 7th floor. There are 4 people between them. 3, 4, 5, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes or no? These are those 4 people. These are those 4 people. So either T is on second floor with Orient on 7th floor, or T is on 7th floor with Orient on second floor. That we have to figure out. Right? Let's see if there is any other information given there. Q not from Indian team but lives above the one who promotes Dabur. Okay, Q is not from Indian team but lives above the one who promotes Dabur. So this also is not useful immediately. Next point, the one who promotes Orient fans does not live immediately above an England player. This is useful. The one who promotes Orient fans does not live immediately above an England player. See, Orient does not live immediately above. The word immediately is important. The one who promotes Orient fans is not immediately above England. Can he take Orient fans in second floor? No. Because if you take Orient fans on second floor, it comes out to be immediately above England, which is not allowed. Orient fans does not live immediately above England. So go back to the previous point. We were discussing, right? T versus Orient. Orient cannot come on second floor. So T has to come on second floor. Which country is he from? We do not know. But T has to come from second floor. Then there are 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Orient fans will come on the 7th floor. Now who is that person and which country it belongs to we do not know, but so this point is fixed. Yes or no? Between T and Orient we have got 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Q and V are not immediate neighbors. Q and V are not immediate neighbors. Keep that in mind. V lives between the one who endorsed Boost and T. And V is not an immediate neighbor of them. Now see, this point is also useful. V lives between Boost and T. But V is not an immediate neighbor of them. See, T is fixed. Boost is not fixed. V lives between Boost and T. V lives between Boost and T. But it's not an immediate neighbor. So how would it look like? See, if T is here at the bottom, V comes here and then Boost. V lives between Boost and T, and he is not an immediate. So there is a gap between V and Boost and V and T. And ideally that gap should be equal. If there are 2 people here, there should be 2 people here. If there is 1 person here, there should be 1 person here. Because V lives between the one who endorsed Boost and T, he said. Right? Anyway, we'll come to that later. An Indian cricketer who promotes Dabur lives on the floor exactly in between among all of them. Oh, this is straight. An Indian cricketer who promotes Dabur lives on the floor exactly in between among all of them. See, which is exactly in between among all the floors? 4th floor. Yes or no? There's an Indian cricketer who promotes Dabur who lives exactly between all these floors. So 3 floors at the bottom, 3 floors at the top, 4th floor comes out to be that floor. So which means the 4th floor is an Indian guy. And he promotes Dabur. Now this should simplify a lot of stuff. How do I say that? Because we know that there are 3 Indian cricketers and who live on alternate floors. There are 3 Indian cricketers living on alternate floors. So if 4th floor is Indian cricketer, we have discussed it should either be 2, 4, 6 or 3, 5, 7. So since 4th floor is blocked by Indian cricketer, 2nd floor should also be an Indian cricketer and 6th floor should be an Indian cricketer. Yes or no? Are you getting it? So that last point is helpful now. 2, 4, 6 are Indian cricketers. Now out of 3, 5, 7, 1 is going to be England, the other 2 are going to be Australia. What else do we do? Q is not an Indian team but lives above the one who promotes Dabur. Q is not from Indian team but lives above the one who promotes Dabur. See, Q lives above Dabur but he is not from Indian team. See, which are the floors above Dabur? 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. So Q should be either from 5 or 6, 5th or 6th or 7th floor. But Q is not from Indian team. So only choices for Q are 5 or 7. So make a note of it. Q will be either 5th floor or 7th floor. 5th floor or 7th floor. Yes or no? 5th floor or 7th floor. Any other point there? Q and V are not immediate neighbors. Q and V are not immediate neighbors. I think this point of V is very, very important. If you can fix V, a lot of things will fall in place. Because see, V is related to Revital, V is related to England, V is related to Boost and T, V is also not a neighbor of Q. So I think V's position is very, very important. See, where can V come? Try and understand. We know that V is not a neighbor of, V is not an immediate neighbor of them. Them here indicates who? T and Boost. So V cannot come on third floor. Yes or no? Can V come on third floor? No, because V will not be a neighbor of, we have noted, right? V cannot be a neighbor of T, V cannot be a neighbor of Boost. So V cannot be a neighbor of T. V can come on fourth floor or fifth floor. Yeah, and see, V has to be exactly between Boost and T, right? V was in the middle. It said, where is that point? V lives between the one who endorsed Boost and T. So if V is not an immediate neighbor, V can come on fourth floor, then Boost can come on sixth floor. You're getting it? Let's say there is one person between V and T, and there is one person between V and Boost. There can't be two persons between V and T and V and Boost. Because if there are two people here and two people here, 2 plus 2, 4, then 5, 6, 7. Here itself we have got 7 persons, which is not possible. You're able to follow. Starting from T, we cannot have 7 persons above, right? 1, 2, 3. I mean, if you take 2, 2 here, for example, if you take 2 and 2 here. So T, 1 person, then there are 2 persons here, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Starting from T, we cannot have 7 persons. So there cannot be two people between V and T and V and Boost. There has to be one person only between these two pairs. So I think that tells us that T, there's one person between T and V, and there's one person between V and Boost. So Boost comes here. Understand? So V is between, you see, this point is satisfied. V is between Boost and T. V is between Boost and T. And it's not a neighbor of Boost and T. Yes or no? The other way also, Boost cannot be on 7th floor. Can Boost go on 7th floor? No. 7th floor is blocked by Orient. Boost has to be on 6th floor only. There is no other choice. Because Boost, if it comes on 5th floor, then V cannot be on 4th floor. V has to be on 3rd floor. And if V is on 3rd floor, it becomes a neighbor of T. That restriction tells us that there should be one person between V Boost and VT. You're able to follow? Boost cannot come on 7th floor. Boost is on 6th floor, let's say. Then V cannot be on 5th floor. V has to be on 4th floor. And T comes here. That is the only way out. If you take Boost on 5th floor, then V has to be on 3rd floor. And if V is on 3rd floor, V and T become neighbors, which is not allowed. Right? V is not a neighbor of them. V is not a neighbor of them means what? Boost and T. V cannot be a neighbor of Boost and T. Fixed. I think V is fixed. If V is fixed, a lot of things can be fixed now. See, we know that R, who promotes Revital, is below V. We already noted this, right? V is above R, or R is below V. Now below V, the only position available for R is this one. And he promotes what? Revital. So this brand is Revital. It's done. We also know that below V there is one England player who promotes TVS. Below V there is one England player who promotes TVS. Understand again, R cannot be from England. Because we know that England players promote TVS and Pepsi. Indian is already done. There are 3 Indian players. We have already marked those. R should either be England or Australian. I mean, he should either be English or Australian. Can he be from England? No. Because England players promote TVS and Pepsi. He's promoting Revital. So he is from Australia. Right? Now if you go back and read this statement, V is above the England player who promotes TVS. Or there is one England player below V who promotes TVS. Who's that player? Below V there is only one England player. That is S. So S promotes TVS. It is done. Yes or no? Below V, there is one player from England who promotes TVS. That person has to be S. Yeah. The other England player promotes Pepsi. See, now, can this be England? Can 7th floor be England? No, because England player promotes Pepsi. This is Orient. So England has to come here. So 2 England are done, 3 Indian are done. This one has to be Australia. And this England guy promotes what? Pepsi. Yes or no? So this point also is used now. There's only one brand left out. That brand can come here. What is that brand, by the way? Videocon. Videocon is this. So with respect to brands, everything is done. With respect to teams also, everything is done, right? England, India, Australia. India, England, India, and Australia. Yeah. Let's look at this. Q will be 5 or 7, we know, but both 5 and 7 are possible as of now. P will be 3, 5, 7. 3 is not possible because 3 is blocked by R. So P will be 5 or 7. Okay. So observe now. P will take 5th floor or 7th floor. Q also will take 5th or 7th. So between P and Q, 5th and 7th are going to get occupied. Right? This will be P or Q. This will be Q or P. Because those are the only choices for P and Q. So who will come on 6th floor now? The one who's left out. P, Q are done. R is done. S is done. T and V are done. U will come on 6th floor. Now find out any information which can help us decide. Where will Q come? Okay, Q and V are not immediate neighbors. I think I missed this point. Q and V are not immediate neighbors. If Q and V are not immediate neighbors, Q cannot come on 5th floor because then it becomes neighbor of V, right? Q cannot come on 5th floor. Q has to come on 7th floor. So P cannot come on 7th floor. So it's done now. From 1 to 7, the sequence of persons is S, T, R, V, P, U, Q. The sequence of countries is England, India, Australia, India, England, India, Australia. And the brands are TVS, Videocon, Revital, Dabur, Pepsi, Boost and Orient. That completes this interesting floor-based puzzle. Right? Let's quickly read out the questions. Which of the following product is endorsed by the Indian cricketer? Indian cricketers endorse what? Videocon, Dabur and Boost. Videocon, Boost and Dabur. So 1 and 3, right? Both 1 and 3. Videocon and Boost. Who lives between U and Dabur? Between U and Dabur. Between U and Dabur, U is here and Dabur is here. So who lives between U and Dabur? This P, who's from England endorsing Pepsi. P should be the answer. Yeah. How many players live between the one who endorsed TVS Motors and Boost? Number between TVS and Boost. TVS is here and Boost is here. How many are there between them? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which of the following products are not featured by England cricketer? See, we know that England promotes what? Pepsi and TVS, right? TVS and Pepsi, we discussed this. So, which of the following products are not featured by England cricketer? Dabur. They promote TVS, they promote Pepsi, right? Which are not promoted by England? Dabur. The product Revital is featured by which of the following cricket team? Revital. Revital is by Australia. R. Option 1 is the answer. So as you can see, answering the 5 questions is a cakewalk. I mean, once you have done the arrangement or the puzzle, marking answers to the 5 questions will take about 10 seconds or maybe 20 seconds altogether for all the 5 questions. What takes time is doing that arrangement there. And overall, it's a 3.5 minute puzzle in my view. Don't go by the length of my explanation because I was not solving it. I was explaining it to you. So it took longer. When you do it yourself, you don't read out, right? You don't speak out. And you don't have to explain. So you automatically figure out what comes where and try to fix it, right? So point I'm trying to make is don't go by the length of the explanation and decide that this puzzle is complex. I was explaining, I was not solving, number 1. Number 2, in my view, 3 to 4 minutes is more than enough for getting 5 marks here, which is worth it if you can do it in a mains examination. Okay. Milan has asked me a question. Lives between means exactly middle is right or not? No. Lives exactly between and lives between are 2 different things. See, these keywords are very, very important. Immediately, exactly, only are very, very important words when it comes to solving puzzles. So here also when he said, V lives between Boost and T, it need not be exactly between Boost and T, right? But then we knew other information there that V lives between Boost and T and V cannot be a neighbor of Boost and T. So obviously there should be a gap of at least 1 person between V and T and V and Boost. And then the only way we could fix it is whatever we had got there. So we had planted it that way, right? but exactly between and between are two different things. All right. Any other query there? I think we're going to close now. We have more questions, but solutions are available in your practice papers. I mean, those who all have taken the mock exam can refer to those solutions, right? Yeah. No queries, no more questions. All right, so let's close it here. Thank you once again for joining us. I hope all of you have enjoyed this session. Remember, like I said yesterday, I told you the shortcut to score more in quantitative aptitude is to work on your numerical skills. The shortcut to score more in reasoning is to choose your questions wisely. Right? I'm not talking about any concept. It's just about your ability to pick up the right ones. Right? Don't get fascinated by a puzzle and say that, boss, this is going to give me 5 marks, so I have to try it. No, that's stupid. That strategy is stupid. Just because it is carrying a weightage of 5 marks does not mean that you have to try it. If scoring those 5 marks, what matters is how much time will it take to score those 5 marks. So if you can get those 5 marks in 6 minutes and instead solve 5 independent questions in 3 minutes or 4 minutes, you know what is the obvious choice, right? So choose your questions wisely. That will help you score more in the examination. Okay, and yeah, practice is the key. There's no other shortcut, right? Practice will, practice, I don't say it makes you perfect, but practice will reduce your imperfections, right? It'll tell you what not to do in such cases. So keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. Thank you once again. Keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. Bye.